Good flipping morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Victory Monday. The Patriots shove a win down the Miami Dolphins' throat, and most of Florida under storm watches. I will get to all that and much, much more. It is Monday morning. It is the day after football, and it is your host, Culler Commentary, for this morning's Cup of Color. And we'll have some coffee too.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown.
Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Or Tyler, you know.
Yeah, we just had so much confidence on the sideline, like going into it. You know what I mean? Just picking each other up. Telling each other, each individual person is going to be the reason why we win this game. So, we went out there, put that on our backs, and got the job done.
What did it turn into when you guys realized you were going to grind it out here with the running game?
Just kind of how the flow of the game was going. We had success running the ball while stopped.
Once again, good morning, everybody. It is a rainy, wet South Florida morning, per usual for this time of year. As the heat starts to back off and continue to flare up in the Gulf, we tend to get quite a bit of rain and popping thunderstorms around here. And, of course, late season hurricanes, as most of you are probably aware. Florida has another hurricane bearing down on it at the moment. Hurricane Milton, which just intensified last overnight to a Category 4 as expected. Sitting off just to the northwest of the coast, north coast of the Yucatan. Expected to start brushing the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula probably into the afternoon, evening hours of tonight. Possibly making a slight landfall around midnight. And then, of course, nobody knows. So currently the entire west coast of Florida in the Gulf is under a hurricane watch. Split right down the middle. On the other side of the coast, under a tropical storm watch at the moment. I'm going to bring you the latest on all of it right now. We'll get that out of the way, update you on the storm, and then get into some Dolphins football. How'd you like that win yesterday, everybody? Hit the like button. It is time to hit the like button. We got a few of you rolling in. It's people having a hard time waking up. Everybody, nice boring win. Gets everybody back to their lives and back to work real quick. Not thinking about the Dolphins. They got us exactly where they want us. And I think we did everything. Both teams yesterday did everything they possibly could to hand each other that ball game. New England being the successful ones by trying to use more of the field than is available to get scores. We'll get into that too, and I will clear up all of the confusion on this stupid catch rule that's been the same rule forever. I've got the rule. I've got the article. I've got the chapter. I've got the section, subsection, subsection. I've got it all. I'm going to read it to you. And we're going to explain exactly why the referees made the right call yesterday in handing the Dolphins the ball game. And I say that only because we did nothing to help our own cause. We did nothing to take that ball game yesterday. And as you can see by the title, I think we won with the right stuff and maybe a little bit of Mostert. And that's going to be how we have to keep winning. The team looks like it wants to win. You heard what Jonu said. He seems to agree. We run the ball, we win. We may not all want it that way. We want a star quarterback to just put 40 zillion points on the board. But as you saw yesterday, that didn't really do much for Joe Burrow because he had a fantastic day yesterday. Putting up 30, their team put up 30 points. The guy threw 1 billion yards and 1 billion touchdowns and 1 billion everything else and still fell short. And when asked yesterday at his press conference about, going forward, he made it clear. After playing Lamar Jackson and all that to 3 points, leading most of the day, Joe Burrow is quoted as saying yesterday that the Bengals are not a championship level team right now. Yeah, that's what he said. He said, quote, "We're not a championship level team right now. We're not. I like to think that we'll come back and improve throughout the season to get to that point. But right now, we are not, and we have to get better." That's what Joe Burrow said in his press conference yesterday after completing 30 passes out of 39 thrown for 5 touchdowns and 1 costly interception in the fourth quarter. Jamar Chase had 10 catches for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. And because they lost the game and they're 1-4, he doesn't consider them a championship team, nor do I. I just wanted to point that out because I wanted to illustrate what the heart of a champion looks like. When people talk about, the it factor and they know and their eye test and all that, Joe Burrow knows firmly where that football team is at. Put up 38 points on the Baltimore Ravens, throw 1 billion yards, you get the loss. That's what you get to sit at home with right now, a loss. None of that mattered. None of that makes you a champion. Champions find a way. Good morning, everybody. Once again, I'll just say hi to a couple people in chat while I get this screen shared up for you. I keep getting scattered. I'm always scatterbrained in the morning. You know me. The coffee takes a little while for the caffeine to sit in. And I literally just woke up like 45 minutes ago. But right now, this is what we're looking at in the Gulf. You ever wonder why the Gulf is shaped the way it is? Almost makes you think that This has been going on for a long time, huh? But there it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the storm. Let me see how it's coming up for you guys. Make sure I don't need to make any adjustments. Yep, that's it right there. As you can see, just off the coast of the Yucatan. Nice, well-formed eye. That's that little white dot right there in the middle. And looks like it's just about starting to go through an eye replacement. You can see it in the movement. This little blob, all this right here, this little section between the two, all of that's going to start joining. You can see you can even see the little tails starting to join the two. All of that's going to, this eye will disappear and all of that will reformulate and form a new eye. That's called an eye replacement. And it looks like it's about to go through it. Here's the current forecast track. As you can see, computer models have it making landfall currently right around the Sarasota, Bradenton area. That's where my dad was born, Bradenton. Just south of St. Petersburg, south of Tampa Bay. Going up into Lakeland and then exiting out through Merritt Island up by the Cape. NASA, all that. It's up by where Cap's at, roughly. As you can see, it has intensified to a Category 4. Expected to brush the north coast of the Yucatan. And this is where it starts to get hairy and unknown. Continue as a Category 4, sitting in between the Yucatan and Florida and Cuba, right off the northwest coast of Cuba, and then slightly decreasing in strength to a Category 3 into a Category 2 before or as it makes landfall. So hopefully not as strong, but keep in mind this is a Category 4 storm that's traveling through the Gulf of Mexico as a Category 4 storm. And so even if the storm decreases in strength, that storm surge is still coming in and having been pushed by a Category 4 storm for a day and a half. That storm surge is going to be pretty brutal, as you guys experienced over on the West Coast during the last storm that just rolled by. Everybody be prepared. If you're in an evacuation zone, just get out now. Don't even bother with messing with it if you've got a place to go. If you're on the east coast of Florida and you're worried, probably actually better off heading south. It's likely to eventually affect all of the north of where it's at now, no different than Helene did. This is the current wind involved with it. And so you're looking at right around, they're projecting landfall right around next Monday. No, not next Monday. So Wednesday is where it'll be sitting right off the coast, starting to approach landfall right around Wednesday of this week. Because it has it in the center of the state around Thursday at 2 a.m. So roughly from Wednesday at noon to Thursday at 2 a.m. So the event, it looks like it's pretty fast moving, because it's supposed to span this whole area, within a 24-hour period. So Fortunately, moving quick. We want it to keep moving quick so it just blows through and exits right out the state. The storm surge is going to be what it's going to be. What you don't want is you don't want that storm to sit there and churn off the coast and continue to pull in that ocean water. That's what you don't want. You want it to move through and exit out as fast as possible. And so everybody be prepared, be safe. Do not underestimate this storm. We just saw what happened with the last one. And so be prepared. Enough of the doom and gloom. So far, we will be here until we're affected by it. I hope if it doesn't drift south at all in its projection, we should be okay over where I'm at on the East Coast. But we are currently under a tropical storm watch, which means watch, basically. We're looking to see tropical storm weather within the next 72 hours. So there you go. That likely will start to change and adjust into a hurricane watch as the day goes through and tomorrow comes. So be careful, but it's every bit as likely to shift anywhere. That whole cone right there, it could be anywhere. The center of it predicts around Sarasota, Bradenton. Models have been pretty good the past few years. That's probably likely where it'll end up. Even this far out, you can kind of tell. You always go with the first instinct earlier in the week, but it could also follow a very similar path to Helene right up into the Big Bend of Florida, up into the country, and just continue to pour more rain in and more ocean onto an already flooded eastern seaboard. So everybody that was affected last time, North Carolina, Georgia, all you people need to be ready and need to know that you very likely could get a whole nother round of it. Even if it just exits out of Florida, it's going to pull all kinds of moisture and rain up into the eastern seaboard, Georgia, Alabama, Carolinas, Virginias. Y'all got to be ready right now. I can't be serious enough. Welcome to Aquavision, the first one in chat. Bright and early. Happy with a dub. I know you are, Aqua. You can't hide it. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Red, White, and Bills, who apparently was done with football for about 12 hours and has since returned to the sport. Welcome to have you back, Sean. Good to see you. Adam Sadowski, Tim Washington, Marino's Goat, C. Heffel, Scrappy. I'll get to you in a minute, delusional Patriot fan. Manolo Rivera, how you doing? Dolphin here. We got Ali in the house. I see him in back. You're welcome to come up anytime, Ali. If you got some words, I'm pretty sure you've got some words on the storm. Mr. Dragoon, Michael K. Michael K is still alive. Day one, how's it going? Kenna Rankin. Tua Tuesday. It might just be Tua Tuesday. It might just be. Kevin Lee, how's it going? I know, only one game out of first. Good point. Black Sheep, C. Heffel again. Oh, and C. Heffel had a question about coffee I'll get to. Of course, Mr. Irrelevant. Dolphins, Mr. Irrelevant, Green Rat, who joined us on the panel yesterday. Good to see you again. I think that's Shekel. Yep, that's Shekel. What's up, Shekel? Going by the full business name now. Flava J, Joseph Whaling Guy. We got a whole bunch of people rolling in. Rube. Oh man, Chef Jews in the house. Ambassador at large. Adam Padilla. Nene, whose Rockets got a big win this weekend. Mudbone. Redheaded Kane. Another big win for the Canes. And that'll just about do everybody coming in. If you're not already in the chat, you're going to get the best hello of them all. And make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It's the easiest and most free way to help support us. And of course, donate if you'd like to. We got several ways to do that. Super chats, Cash App, becoming a member, going to TFTGnetwork.com, bookmarking it, making it your homepage, and hitting up our shop for some merch. All of it helps. All of it keeps us growing. And we do need to grow because we got the right stuff, guys, in the building. I don't know. I'm just really, really impressed by Jalen Wright. I had to make it part of my title this morning. I know we had plenty of other ways to win, but man, what a beast. Is this beast mode 2.0? I might start calling it that. Beast mode 2.0. Ali must have got some work going on or something. He popped in and left. But either case, we'll get into some scores from yesterday real quick, get into some league-wide action, and then, of course, our beloved Miami Dolphins. Who, as most of you know, defeated the New England Patriots. Sorry for the background noise. I got the maintenance guys are rolling through this morning before the hurricane. And they always like to come when it's like overcast out. I don't blame them. It's much cooler out today. We absolutely put a mollywhopping on the New England Patriots, 15-10. Doing everything we possibly can to keep ourselves out of the end zone. Alec Ingold finally said enough is enough. I'm going against the tank. I'm going against the organization, and I'm putting this ball in the end zone. So Alec Ingold scoring our only touchdown. Followed by... Wait, hold on. There we go. Seven, 6, 7. Was it our only touchdown? I don't know. We'll get into it. Anyway, scores from yesterday. We all saw what happened on Thursday with the overtime win. Falcons defeating the Buccaneers. The whole slate from yesterday goes as follows. Brian Flores putting up another gem on defense, defeating Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets 23-7. Van Ginkel, pick sixes all over the place again. Sam Darnold brought down to earth a little bit with that Jets defense. Just nothing but misery. You can see it right on the face of Aaron Rodgers. That ain't going to last much longer. Sorry, Jets fans. Bears defeat the Panthers 36-10. Finally get a decisive win and a 300-yard passing performance by their quarterback. I think first time in history, I want to say. We'll look into that. Ravens using overtime to defeat the Bengals 41-38. We spoke about that a little earlier. Joe Burrow out on his team for right now. Dolphins, of course, as I said, mentioned, defeat the Patriots 15-10. Commanders beating the Browns 34-13, rolling another team 3 weeks in a row. Jaguars finally get off the snide, get their win against the Colts. Joe Flacco and the Colts mounting a fourth quarter comeback, putting 24 points on the board in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough. Jaguars win 37-34. Texans defeating the Bills on a last-second 59-yard field goal, 23-20. Josh Allen suffering a head contusion or something of the sort. They put some weird thing in front of his nose, and all of a sudden he was allowed to play again. Oh, the Dolphin fans are up in arms about it. Mind your own business, people. Who cares about Josh Allen and whether they pulled him out of the game or not? Broncos defeating the Raiders 34-18. Bo Nix having a pretty decisive day, getting into it with Sean Payton on the sideline. Cardinals run around like a bunch of little maniacs and defeat the 49ers 24-23. 49ers still reeling with the loss of Christian McCaffrey. Packers defeat the Rams 24-19. Giants. I mean, in the second half of that game, their defense just took over. Decided they were going to spend the rest of the game in the Seahawks backfield. And the Giants hold off and score 29 points yesterday to defeat the Seahawks 29-20. In last night's action, yeah, the Cowboys finally decided to win the game 20-17 at the end. Justin Fields looking mediocre. Fans are screaming for Russell Wilson there. And believe it or not, the Cowboys got me back on the plus side for the day yesterday. Yes, Capitan, you heard me correctly if you're out there listening. The Dallas Cowboys got me back on the plus side yesterday, last night in betting. I will explain why. Cap for life, good morning. At some point during the show. So that's the scores from around the league. We got Saints and Chiefs tonight at Arrowhead. So hit the like button, everybody. I couldn't really think of a poll question this morning other than the obvious. Do you think the referees made the right call yesterday? I guess that's one. Where'd that question? I wanted to get to one question from one of our regulars around here. I think it was Heffel, wasn't it? Yeah, Heffel. See, Heffel says, Culler, the coffee expert. Well, I could only wish to be an expert, but I do like coffee. I have a serious question on coffee. Is cappuccino coffee? I mean, I'm not really sure.
What did he ask?
Is cappuccino coffee? Good morning, Ali, by the way.
Good morning.
I mean, I've had cappuccino that didn't even have a hint of coffee flavor in it.
So essentially, I believe because cappuccinos are made with espresso, they are a coffee drink.
I think they're supposed to be a coffee. Yeah.
Because the ingredients of cappuccino, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, so if someone knows the correct ingredients, please correct me.
Yeah, Michael K, of course. Michael K doesn't waste any time. Says the root of cappuccino is the coffee bean. So yes. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because I was gonna say espresso, steamed milk, and milk foam is really what
gas stations that ruined it and took the coffee out of it.
Yeah, those people. I'm going to tell you straight up, unless you're like a Wawa's or someplace that's known for their coffee, gas stations don't make coffee. They just make water with dirt. That's all it is.
I know, right? Water with dirt. You mean sort of like Starbucks with pour the water in the ashtray, let it sit for a little while, and
that's what it tastes like, bro. I was in where was I? I was coming back from up north. And it was super cold because it was during the winter time, right? And I'm driving down from Ohio, and I stopped at a gas station to get a hot cocoa because I figured, okay, hot cocoa, it's cold. You know, I haven't had a good one since I live in Florida. And I go to have one, and I'm gonna be honest, it was the most god awful thing I've ever had in my life. I will never get coffee or hot cocoa or any of those types of drinks from a gas station. I'll only stick with like a bottled, carbonated drink from a gas station. That's it.
Yeah, as a coffee, connoisseur, I guess. For gas station, I have to get used to a place. Like I have to find a place where I like the taste of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to go there. Like I have to. That's the only place I can go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only reason I suggested maybe Wawa's is because they have like a restaurant and they're known for having, good food there. So that's kind of why I thought maybe, their coffee is not too bad. But I generally don't get coffee from any place, not even a Dunkin' Donuts, even though, I take that back. I have actually had good coffee from Dunkin' Donuts before. I rarely get stuff like that from them. The only thing that I got from them recently was a pumpkin spice latte, but it was for something for work. I had to do they wanted me to do a review on
So
it.
is a latte a coffee?
That is a good question.
Cap never buys sushi at a gas station. Yeah, Cap for life.
That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm gonna stop Cap in his tracks right there. There is, believe it or not, right next to my house, the Sunoco station right here has a sushi restaurant in it that gets 5 stars. We've ordered sushi from them. It is amazing. In my opinion, it's the best sushi you can get in the Treasure Coast area, and it's in a gas station. And the reviews on Yelp and everywhere, that place.
Okay, so there's a difference between though. We got to make clear it up though. There's a difference between a sushi place that happens to sell gas and a gas station that sells sushi.
Oh, you're talking about like it's not homemade. It's not made there. It's
Right,
like
or
pre-made is
like
what you're saying?
like for instance, like in the Midwest and like Illinois, Missouri, places like that, they'll have like a cafe that also sells gas.
Mm.
So it's like a mom and pop restaurant, and they just happen to also have gas pumps and sell gas. You know what I mean?
So this to answer the question about the latte is a coffee drink. It's made with the same ingredients as a cappuccino. The only difference is the latte.
Nene's got us on lock, bro.
Why would she say?
She's like, a latte is made with espresso, steamed milk, and a thin layer of foam. The ratio of milk to espresso is usually around 3-1.
Yeah, it's almost like a cappuccino. It just has a different ratio. That's pretty much it.
And as a chef, she probably pulled that right from memory. You know what I mean?
Michael K. Dunkin' Donuts went under in Buffalo because of Tim Hortons.
I believe it.
That is absolutely correct, because we know that only Canadian companies would be taking over your god awful town.
And Tim Horton ain't all that bad. So I can't believe that.
I would rather go to Tim Hortons than Starbucks, to be honest. That's
easily. Tim Hortons is just Dunkin' Donuts with different branding.
Yeah, I'm kind of
and better maintained overall. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of worried about Dunkin' Donuts. They used to be good, in my opinion, and they're starting to decline in this area. At least
we can talk about why on a private conversation, Ali.
Okay, that would be private. Yeah.
Either case, so what do you think about that? I mean, I'm feeling a little like it's hard to speak this morning because the Patriots are like stuffing this wind down my throat. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like neither one of them teams wanted it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. This team is very undisciplined. That's the problem, right? And there was dumb mistakes being made that I kind of felt like gave more to the Patriots, giving them more chances to win.
You ain't lying. If that's the Chiefs yesterday, they might break the 73-point record.
Yeah, that's Absolutely true. And but I will say this. Who has been telling you all week that Mike McDaniel needs to dumb the offense down, stop the trickery, stop the shenanigans, and just play basic fundamental football? You
I mean,
have
it's
Culler.
pretty much, yeah,
I
it's
have
pretty much
I
been the
have
consensus of the community. You know,
I have yeah, everybody has been saying it, and they finally do it. And what happens? We get a win, right? Now, does it always call for basic, fundamental football? No, it doesn't. Some you might have to change some things up. But I think if you're gonna throw in backups that are, have not been here very long, Huntley's been here what, a matter of 3 weeks, if
Mhm.
that. Even
We're still trying to keep working in Julian Hill, despite the debacle that he is. You know,
yeah, I mean, even the Skylar Thompson, he's not a full-time starter. He's a backup that's only played maybe a couple games, right?
right?
That being said, you can't just expect the guy to go in and know how to run your offense,
In 9 days,
masterfully. Yeah, in 9 days. You need to dub the offense down and work your way up to that to be able to do that, and I feel that they did a disservice to us on Monday night, because there was definitely chances for us to stay in the game on Monday night, but they didn't want to do that. They
you know what
they
it was
tried
like.
to-
You know what it was. You know what it almost reminds me of, Ali. It's like
yeah.
the back in the day when you couldn't just go into a legal dispensary and purchase cannabis. Um, you had like people that would deal in bulk amounts of it, right? And there was always a joke we'd all make that, like, when you're talking about how good the herb was, you'd say, "Oh, it was so sticky, man. We would just take buds and stick them on the wall, and whatever ones didn't fall off, we'd keep for ourselves." You know,
uh
and it seems like that's what McDaniel was doing with that Monday night game. Like, we got Huntley in, is really an unknown as far as to what level he can handle. Fresh in the building, on that short of notice. So let's just do what
Find
we
out what
know.
sticks.
That's all McDaniel could do, is do what he knows. And what he knows was too complex or complicated, whichever word you want to use. We'll get to that later, because I found this nice little piece. I'll tell you all about it in a second. But, you know, if you want to call it dumbing it down, whatever, but it seems like he needed to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean?
I got you. And maybe you're right. Maybe that's what he had to do. But
Kinda
one
like
thing
peeling the Band-Aid off, or, like, we just got to know. We
Mhm.
can't do anything different because we don't know what to change yet.
But here is my concern with that, Color. Even in the Buffalo game, the Seattle game, and the Titans game, right? One thing was consistent.
Well, right,
Running the ball
sure,
wins, right? Running the
sure.
ball has been the most successful thing we've done all season.
Right. What
And
the mistake he made, well, two mistakes, important ones.
Mhm.
First of all, none of this
Yeah,
is an issue if you take care of the problem in the offseason,
that's
which
true. That's number one.
if
Yeah.
if a guy like Huntley or Huntley himself is, with us in the building throughout camp, this ain't an issue because McDaniel would know exactly what to change on offense. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or what to throw out, what to add in, whatever.
What
That's number
surprises me?
one mistake. Number two mistake was, instead of relying on fundamentals to get a dub, he tried to throw the stuff at the wall and see what sticks. In other words, he relied on what he knows instead of relying on fundamentals, which is run the football when you don't know what to do. You know
I
what I
got
mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. I think what surprises me the most about you talked about, taking care of this situation in advance, like during camp and whatnot. Um, Huntley, I believe, was with the Browns, and we tried to trade for him, but the Browns said no, only for them to release him. And instead of going after him, they let him just walk over to the practice squad with the Ravens.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that didn't make really sense to me. If you really wanted him, why didn't you just go grab him after he got released? You,
Or
you know what I'm
anybody like
saying?
him.
Yeah, or
You know,
anyone like
anybody
this.
that you would have brought in, you wanted to bring in camp.
Sometimes I don't think that this team or whoever is in charge of that, which would
I
be
mean,
Greer, to be
the guy
honest.
you had in camp all the whole time, you cut.
Mhm.
You know,
But what I'm saying, Color, is that sometimes the people that are in charge of player acquisition, which we know is Chris Greer, right?
mm-hmm.
I sometimes think that he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Like
Well,
it's like I wonder if he sits there and he's has like a dandelion or something in his hand and he's going, yeah, I like you not. I like you not. And whatever he ends up with, that's what he does for each player.
you got the first watch your mouth of the morning, bro. That's my banner for the morning show.
Oh, watch your mouth.
Yeah, that's my version of the swear jar.
What did I say? Did I say? Oh, because I said the F word. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I apologize. I thought this was an adult show. I didn't know that we're
It's
on the
11 in the
Disney show
morning.
right
There ain't
now.
no adult shows at 11 in the morning.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if I offended everybody. I thought this was a freedom of speech channel.
We are not. We are not.
Well,
we
I'm
are
from
not.
England. Okay, we use F words as
Well, we
regular.
don't. Well, we don't use a bleep sound or nothing. We're not in delay or nothing like that. But we're trying to curtail it in the morning. And
Did you hear what I said, Color?
curtailing is not censorship.
Did you hear what I said, Color?
Yeah, I heard it.
I said I'm from England. We use swear words as a term of endearment.
Right. That's FOOK in England, by the way. Fook.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, but you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I think he doesn't really have a plan, and he's trying to figure out what to do with it, and he fumbles it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what my concern with Greer is. He makes awesome trades and makes stuff happen. I mean, I have to give him the respect he deserves because he did, with certain trades he made, it did lead to a lot of talent being brought to this team, right? Without the trades he made, we wouldn't have Waddle, we wouldn't have Tyreek Hill, we wouldn't have HN, we wouldn't have some of these players, even Jalen Wright, who is our new favorite player of this season right now, right?
Right.
We wouldn't have these people. So at the same time, I just it's not settling for me. You know what I mean? It's kind of uneasy because I kind of feel like a captain of a boat that has to drive or has to sail his boat through a hurricane, and he has to somehow navigate the stormy waters.
And
That's what
on top of that, it's a yacht.
Yeah, it's a yacht.
That takes like 3 days to move when you turn the steering wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because like every time I'm turning around, Chris Greer's doing something different. I think I know what his plan is. The next day, oh no, that wasn't his plan at all. What the hell is he doing?
Well, maybe that's what makes him good at his job.
maybe he likes to keep people guessing. Maybe
He'd be a good poker player in that regard. If you're sitting there going, "What the heck is this guy going to do next?" That's a good poker player, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured out why we were signing all these players to long-term contracts, especially our older players as well as our coach, because it equates to increasing your value and because you're showing stability of the team through the long-term contracts.
Right.
And then since our owner can sell 10% of his team at the highest value, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a bargaining effect. But what I want to see is more moves that are made that actually affect the field and the product on the field specifically.
Right. So one of the things I wanted to point out from yesterday, because obviously the prevailing instant narrative for what's going on with our season, because people don't want to let go of the tank and people want to it's interesting because it doesn't matter whether people were in on the team and have flip-flopped to being out on the team. Regardless, both have always been knee-jerk reactions. You know what I mean? And the thing of it is, and I mentioned it last week about Dolphins football is back, because we saw what's going on across the league, the first few weeks You look at teams like the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals think they're out of it. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we're one game out of first place all of a sudden. And we're still talking about, well, we know we can still see the forest from the trees because of why? Is our roster different now all of a sudden? Well, we're starting to, look, we made a horrendous amount of mistakes. Unfortunately, we were playing a bad team. But I'm starting to see, like, okay, we did hit rock bottom. We're still at the bottom, but we are climbing our way out. And I don't think the players are out on climbing our way out. And the only thing I would point to is for people to, that are, oh, the Patriots are nobody, this, that, and the other. The only place they really hit us hard yesterday was the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were bad with their run block win rates and pass block win rates. So they hit us good with the running game because the run stop win rate was our strong suit. We were ranked 9th. So they attacked us right at where we're strong. Okay. Knowing that they had no chance anyway in the past game, even though we were ranked 20th going into the game. They, on the other hand, are ranked 32nd in pass block win rate. So they're not going to test the 20th ranked pass defense. You know what I mean? Even though it's only 20th ranked.
Yeah, I completely understand. So
now real quick, they were 26th ranked in run block win rate while we were ranked 9th. Okay. So that's where they tested us, and they hit us pretty hard there. Just to get into some of the numbers, they rushed for 151 yards as a group.
Mm-hmm.
On the 9th ranked run defense. So there's that. Secondly, going into the game, their run defense was ranked 13th, and their pass defense ranked 12th. Okay, and keeping that in mind, I'm going to run through the team stats real quick so you can see what we did to the 13th ranked run defense and the 12th ranked pass defense. We put up 24 first downs to their 15, 10 of them passing, 10 rushing, perfectly balanced. 4 of them from penalties. Kind of crappy on third down, 2 for 11. Or 2 out. We got 11 for 2 completed. 0 for 1 fourth down. Total plays 75 to their 55. Total yards 372 yards of offense to their 299. Both teams had 11 drives. Miami with 5 yards per play. New England 5.4. Miami with 179 yards passing. New England 148. We were sacked 3 times, 1 interception. They were sacked twice, no interceptions. Rushing. New England had 151, as I alluded to earlier, on 19 attempts. So they really gashed us. Miami had 41 attempts for 193 yards. So Miami goes into the game with a 3.9 yard per game average from last week's game, and they put 7.9 per on us. New England had 0 successful red zone attempts out of 2. We had 1 out of 2. New England penalized 12 times, while Miami finally gets under our average. We were averaging about 10 penalties per game, and we were charged with 6 yesterday, albeit we had quite a few more. We were only charged with 6 of them. So that's every bit to do with not only why we won, why we were successful in the run, and as such, we're able to use the run to win the game. So they go hand in hand. Miami with 2 turnovers. Can't have that. 1 fumble loss, 1 interception. Time of possession, 34 minutes, 20 seconds for the Dolphins. 25 minutes, 40 seconds for the Patriots. There were 64,628 in attendance. Very, very quickly, Ali, I got individual stats. Tyler Huntley, 18 for 31 for 194 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 3 times. Raheem Mostert, 19 carries for 80 yards and a long of 18. The 1 touchdown by Alec Ingold on his only carry for 3 yards into the end zone. Put on a masterclass in fullback blocking. But the man of the hour, the man in the headline, 13 carries for 86 yards, a long of 17. That would be our rookie, number 25, Jalen Wright. Absolutely just popping yesterday when he finally started to get handed the football and we started to just keep feeding him the rock. And if you all didn't see what I've been seeing out of the guy with his measurables, a la Marshawn Lynch, a la Jay Ajayi, a la Emmitt Smith, I don't know what you were looking at. Tyreek Hill with 6 receptions on 9 targets for 69 yards, a long of 21. Jonnu with 5 receptions out of 8 targets. Congrats to him, 62 yards, finally catching the ball. Jalen Waddle, only 4 receptions on 8 targets, 46 yards. Got to clean that up, Waddle. You just got to, bro. If you want to be considered elite, you got to catch the ball better than that. In total, 18 receptions for 194 yards. We lost 18 yards in sacks, 15 yards in sacks, hence the reason we only passed for 179. And of course, Marcus May, the top tackler on defense, 9 total tackles, 5 solo. Emmanuel Ogba, 4 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. And Kader Kohu just holding down the corner. Once again, 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 tackles for losses. Those were both on the corner. So congrats to the defense for a decent performance and keeping us in the game, holding the Patriots to 10 points while getting gashed on the run. Ali, maybe you want to comment on this, bro, but people have been back and forth on Jalen Phillips since he's been here. Everybody's all about sacks and whatever else, but I don't think anybody can argue who's been setting the edge on our football team, because we absolutely got destroyed on the edge and in the middle all day yesterday.
Yeah, I think Jalen Phillips definitely was setting the edge, as well as covering a lot of weak points on this defense that we haven't seen as of yet, because that was pretty much the worst abysmal performance from the defense when it comes to stopping the run that I've seen so far. What I will say is this: don't worry, help is on the way. Chubb is coming back soon, right? Yep. So I think we don't have to necessarily worry about Greer going out and finding somebody to cover that spot of the defense.
And you know who else is on track to come back soon?
Who?
The original backup, the original overachiever, my boy Cameron Good.
Yeah, that's true. Cameron Good is on track to come back as well.
Let's not forget, he was on pace. He was on pace, on a good trajectory.
Where we have seen problems, though, right? And it sucks because they did address this in the offseason, just not good enough, I think, is in the middle of the field, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The middle, the
we just got absolute gashed by Antonio Gibson yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I like Brooks at times, and I like David Long Jr., but they were not hitting the right gaps, right? And it's That middle of the field is really where Greer needs to address. So if we're heading into the bye week and the trade deadline, I'm looking at how can I improve the middle of the field? Because if you take away the middle of the field, right, that's going to help the front, the defensive line, as well as it's going to help your secondary. Now, somebody else put something in the chat just recently. I want to say it was Raphael Courtwright. He wants to know how much time is Javon Holland going to miss with a broken hand. Here is one. I don't know
At
exactly
least several weeks.
well, I was going to say, I don't know what the nature of his injury is. I know he has a broken bone in the hand. I don't know what that means. Is it a finger? Is it one of his main bones of his actual palm of his hand? I don't know, right? So that being said, okay, maybe a week, but I'm not so worried. Elijah Campbell started showing up yesterday, right?
Yes,
We do have some depth at safety, so I'm not too worried. But then again, how much use of the hand is needed to play safety, except for slapping the ball away? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's
So
up to Javon.
yeah, it's up to John Holland. So
We've seen guys make tackles with cast before. You know,
I know you said
there was a cornerback in the league that didn't have a hand. You know,
yeah,
so
that's true. So that's why I'm asking that question. So here is where I'm at. I know you said several weeks. I'm going to say I don't expect it to be more than 2 weeks personally.
Well, I mean,
think that-
preliminary reports were several weeks. I don't have any confirmation on that in particular.
Yeah, I got to wait and see what Mike says and what the official word is. Once I have that, then I can say something. But I've seen secondary players, safety and corner play without. We've seen it without a hand, or without, with having a special type of cast on their hand or a brace, whatever you want to call it. I won't be surprised if he comes back sooner than expected.
Right. So
he needs to specifically because this is his contract year, right?
Right.
So he has to come back sooner if he wants the money.
Good point. So real quick, just to sum up the game yesterday, for my part, I know a lot of people are right on the was he a linebacker, Vonjo? I could have sworn he was a corner. But either case, just to sum up, because the narrative is already, the Patriots are a garbage team, blah, blah, blah. Now, okay, I get it. Number one, the Bills lost to garbage teams the last year too. Okay? And that's not meant as a whataboutism. It's meant to illustrate that division opponents are division opponents. Okay? You cannot underestimate that, how that becomes an equalizer. Secondly, they had a tough defense. We are with a backup quarterback. We've had struggles on offense. We did everything we could to shoot ourselves in the foot with fundamental mistakes yesterday. Those can be cleaned up, and they're on their way to be. But I think that, we at least showed that we're going to consistently try to win, and we won. It's a division opponent with a tough defense, and we scored 15 points. Yeah.
For people that haven't been paying attention, the Patriots defense has always been in the upwards of a top 10 defense for the past 3 seasons. People don't realize that. They
were top 3 last year.
Yeah, they were top 3 last year. So that being said, we just beat a really good defense.
It's what they call tough sledding, and it would have been with Tua. Yeah. We probably would have scored more points, sure. You know what I mean? But what we've been dealing with our team is independent of who we're playing. That's what we're trying to impress on the people. That's what I was trying to impress on the people last week. The problems we're dealing with are independent of our opponent. Have nothing to do with who we're playing. Now, who we're playing will determine how bad we get blown out or how close we win, sure. But those same things got to be fixed. And we still have time from getting the dub now to fix those things. We're not tanking. There's nobody in that building that thinks we're tanking. And going through some of the player interviews yesterday and Mike McDaniel at the podium and all that, I think that is blown out of proportion and a knee-jerk reaction by the fans. I just don't. Whether we win or not, it don't matter. Whether we should tank at this point or not is beside the point. We're not tanking. And so, look, I'm still going to enjoy the win. I'm still going to be happy of the fact that if we lose out from here until Tua comes back, we have already gained Tua one more game of what was the word I used last week? Margin for error. In other words, when Tua comes back, we can only have up to 4 losses now. So that means, given that you're probably not going to make the playoffs under 7 losses, barely make them with 7. So that gives Tua, if we win next game, that gives Tua a 4-game margin for error to still make the playoffs. I like our chances if we continue to improve, if we continue to lock down these fundamentals that are killing us. The mentality that's been lacking. I think we showed a little bit of heart yesterday. We showed a little bit of toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
I think it's Banana, or however you say his name, is trying to say that we're not telling the whole story because there was notable key missing people from the defense. The only notable person missing from the defense for the Patriots was Jabril Peppers. That's it. And from this morning, I heard he got arrested. So, that's...
and we're still working with a backup quarterback that's been in the building for 15 days.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a couple of things. We're going to get to it throughout the week because we got a bye week coming up. So we got a lot of things that we got to come up with to talk about. But one of the things I do want to talk about throughout the week is something I noticed with Tyler Huntley running this McDaniel offense, that if we can get right and consistent, could be a really beautiful thing. And it has to do with how he throws the football. And I think it might have to do with, it might be a reason, a good compelling reason as to why we saw last week, and of course, just the lack of timing this week, because it really is just about timing. But I think he's starting to find that spot for himself in the way his throwing motion is and all that. And it could actually bode well for us going forward. So I'm still not out. I'm still optimistic. You know what I mean? Somewhat.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It did look much better into yesterday's game than it did against the Titans. And you could see where he was finally starting to find his rhythm and groove and everything. But
I think he is realizing.
Yeah, but
I don't want to say it now. I don't want to say it because people are gonna think I'm hating, dude, and I just don't want to say it.
No, we're not hating it at all. We're just critiquing. That's what the Wolfpack is about. And I know this is not Saturday Night Wolfpack, but that is what generally
I think he's realizing that it's not that he had to adjust the other way. He had to adjust down.
Yeah.
Like one of the passes I saw him throw yesterday was just like this quick, normal type of timing slant route like Tua throws. And it was just like, he just kind of slipped it there. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, he's having to curb himself.
I understand. He's having to dumb himself down a bit. I
wouldn't say dumb himself down, more like curb himself. And the more he realizes that, the more it could become easy for him.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out though, and this is what my critique for him was that there was like 2, maybe 3 instances where he was looking for the home run
Mhm.
when really I need you to be in this situation because
Sure.
of what we're dealing with. I need you to be the check down guy. You
Sure,
know what I
sure,
mean?
and that's the
And
concern. That's the one concern I mentioned the other night about Cam Ward, ironically,
yeah.
is that you're not gonna be able to play that type of ball in the NFL, man, where you're just going for the big chunk every play.
Especially since the offensive line is really designed for that 2.3 seconds that
Right,
we've been
and
talking about. So
if you noticed when the Canes started really coming back the other night, it's when he finally started buckle down and taking the check downs more often. You know what I mean? That pass to Restrepo that went 77 yards, that was effectively a check down.
mhm.
You know, so anyway, not to get off on that game, but uh, you know, so I really wish people would just realize we're, you know, given the fall we've had from grace for the last 8 or 9 ball games spanning back to last year and including with Tua, I think we're at the point where we realized, okay, it can't get no worse than it was, and so we are starting to finally chop wood. You know, slowly but surely, we've picked up the axe. You know what I mean? Okay, let's start chopping it for real now. That's what I meant last week about football is back. Win or loss is out the window now. You can't
Bones,
tell
let
from week
me
to week what we're going to do. So what
I,
what we expect is fundamental, respectable football, and I think we can get more wins than we think.
yeah, in Bones, let me just clarify something because I don't want this to be misunderstood. I'm not saying that we need to have a check down guy permanently. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in the situation that we're in, that he's new to this offense. He didn't have a whole summer off-season program or training camp or anything with us, right? And he's still learning this offense. I kind of feel you need a check down guy till you can know he's
Mhm.
comfortable enough to properly
Mhm.
and efficiently run this offense.
And
That's
I
what I'm.
get what you're saying, but I feel where Bones is coming from too. Like you definitely don't want to still go to the extreme and hamstring him that way. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I don't want to do that either.
And I
But
think we
he was,
started to see that yesterday. There was a couple
yeah.
scrambles where he slipped in some nice little passes to keep our drive alive. You
Yes,
know.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I'm not
By
gonna.
the
I'm
way,
not gonna dispute
that
that.
scoring
Right.
drive was a 17 play drive.
Yeah, yeah. I was really
When was the last time
referencing.
we had a 17 play drive, man?
That's true. It's been a hot minute. But wanted to say was that what I was critiquing mostly was, remember you even said it live on the show yesterday. He took a sack and he had more than enough time to throw the ball. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
those are
yeah.
the
There was a little
situations
bit
I'm
of that
talking about.
still. Again,
And we saw a lot more
a
of that
lot of this
during the
stuff,
Titans. So
and,
that's why I'm saying that.
and I'm not
Right.
saying it will get better. I'm saying there are signs that it can. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
all
understand.
along, all of this, with all the problems yesterday, we can talk about special teams. We certainly can. Okay. We can talk about not being prepared once again for basic football all day on all sides of the ball. We can talk about all those things. But guess what? We're talking about them with the dub. It's so much different. It's worth talking about when you got the dub. You know what I mean? If we got
Definitely.
a loss, it would not be worth talking about. We'd be talking about continuing. We'd be continuing the tank talk this week. You know, but the dub allows us to continue to talk about serious chances going forward if we clean this X, Y, and Z up. We got it. Weaver's got to find a way to contain that edge and stuff up the middle with Jalen Phillips out. You know, until the other guys finish coming back. You know, I like Cameron good. You know, people don't realize. You know, he's like 3/4 Phillips. Mini Phillips, if you want to call him that.
I wonder if Chris Greer should even there's questioning if Chris Greer should make a move like now to maybe.
I thought that for running back last night, bro.
Because of HN going down? Is that what you're talking
I
about?
mean, and if this is going to be a concussion thing, there's no telling how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the way we are with concussions and all that.
And see, this is why I didn't want to let Brooks go no matter what, man. Oh, man.
He may still be available. I don't know where he signed or what the nature of what team he's with is. Might be on practice squad or something. I tell you who, did y'all see old Miles yesterday having a game? I love it. So, look, great game. I mean, not a great game yesterday, but a great win. For the organization, for the coaching staff. Mike McDaniel somewhat proved that it's at least, giving him the benefit of the doubt for another week. You know what I mean? And if he survived the bye week, they likely ain't gonna fire nobody without a bye week coming up. So he'll probably survive the season. And that was because, look, he did what needed to be done yesterday as a coach. He still couldn't get out of his own way. There were plenty of times where momentum dictated certain things that it was like, okay, now you're thinking too hard. You know what I mean? Like, we want to give him credit for not going for it on fourth yesterday, because we wanted him to be able to know that he can make the decision not to. But yesterday, actually, that was the time to do it. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, we had the momentum. All that. But I'm not going to knock him for it. There was a couple times where we ran the ball when we should have passed, and vice versa. Even though his mission was to stick to the run, and he stuck to it, and it got us the dub, so nobody's going to complain. Plus, we wanted him to stick to the run. So I get it. I'm not going to complain about all that, because ultimately he did what he needed to do as a coach to get us a freaking W in a desperate time of need. You know what I mean? So kudos to him. Keep going, Mike. Keep improving. Don't be afraid to get outside your own head. Just let us play. I mean, so I'm going to move off of that for right now. Ali, if you got another quick second, I was going to go over this controversial play yesterday, non-catch in the end zone. He's definitely not safe, Marketeer. He's safe for another week.
All right, Culler, I'm going to have to address something. I'm kind of pissed off right this moment.
Uh-oh. You guys pissing off Ali already?
Yeah,
if you're going to piss off Ali, hit the like button.
All right, so, and this person probably already knows who I'm going to talk about them. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I'm going to speak about it. I need you guys to lay off Skyler, right? You guys expect him to be Tua, right? And that's not what a backup. There's not another player in this league that can do what Tua does, because that's what makes Tua special, because of his special ability. Every player has an ability that is unlike other quarterbacks, right? And you want to sit here and say, oh, he did a disservice for backing up Tua. How horrible. You don't see nervousness like that in Huntley. Well, Huntley is a former Pro Bowler. Let's not forget that. And
that's cap anyway. There was plenty of nervousness I saw in Huntley.
He has long-term starting experience, right? We have only allowed Skyler to play one game here or one game there, or in the one game he started, he threw 7 first downs in a row.
And with the most pressure anybody could have, too.
To come back because of, I'm sorry, Culler.
No, I was going to say, plus with the most pressure anybody could have had in those games we started him in.
Exactly. And only to be taken out. You don't give this guy a consistency chances, obviously he's not going to grow into it. And I'm sorry to tell you this. No matter what quarterback has been on this team for several years, I don't think they could do what Tua does, right? So it doesn't matter who it is. You need to keep the same energy, because even what's his name? Who did we have the year that we got Skyler? Who was the backup that I didn't? Teddy Bridgewater, right? You're going to tell me that Teddy Bridgewater came in and did amazing things for in light of Tua? Where's the energy against him? Right? That's my point. I'm sorry I had to even say anything, but I'm sick and tired of, people really trying to pump up Tua and hate on our backup. Why don't you use that energy against Chris Greer, who didn't address the position the proper way in the offseason? That's who you should be mad at.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. They it's no different than the constant need to, it just doesn't matter. Everything has to be around to I'm with Lewis these days. He's not our quarterback.
Yeah.
The moment he's our quarterback again, his name will come into my mouth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Skyler is not our quarterback. I don't even know why they're talking about Skyler. Well, in comparison to Tyler Huntley, if you didn't see nervousness out of Tyler Huntley, then you don't know football. Tyler Huntley will tell you he was nervous. So stop the cap. You have no idea what you're talking about.
In addition to that, you don't even know what a backup position role is in a football team. A backup position is not for you to be a starter. It's for you to fill in for just this period or two on the field until your starter can come back.
Right,
and then
right.
At the end of the game, you're not necessarily expected to be the starter. That's why we constantly bring people in. You're just a relief position.
Well,
That's it.
Ali, it does. Here's the thing. They're just simply miserable people, bro. Okay? It doesn't matter what you say to them. Okay? What they see as nervousness, I see as a 45.8% pressure rate. What they see as Tyler Huntley being less nervous, I see as a 23% pressure rate. What they see is Tua improving and not having happy feet as much as he used to, I see as an 11% pressure rate.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just miserable people, Ali.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why. Because Tua,
I don't even know why we're even bringing it up. That's the
Tua
horrible
would be
part about this.
disgusted by the way people act when they compare him to other people like that. When they have to constantly degrade other people to prop up Tua. Tua would be disgusted by that. If he is the person they claim him to be. So, again,
Maybe Aquavision is right. It's Pete's fault.
Yeah, well, we can blame Pete, but Pete's just a symptom of the same problem. A bunch of idiots that think because they started watching football yesterday, that they started playing Madden a couple years ago, that they think they know what they're talking about. Anybody that says Achane is a better running back than Jalen Wright plays too much Madden and bases their takes off of Madden. You cannot look at these two running backs outside of their pads and tell me that Devon Achane is a better running back overall than Jalen Wright.
I would say that Devon Achane has different attributes than Jalen Wright.
Of course you would say that. Of course you would say that. A person may like Achane more and what he brings to the table differently than Wright. That's fair. Okay. But now that we've seen Jalen Wright actually do the job without fumbling, okay, nobody's going to tell me Achane is a better running back than Jalen Wright. Unless you base your takes off Madden.
Mhm.
Because in Madden, the player does whatever you want it to do. These players don't have those abilities, people, that you ascribe to them because you see them do it on a video game. Okay, when Achan's head hit the ground yesterday, that wasn't a video game screen. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Nobody should actually be saying that either one of these two running backs, to Ali's point, nobody should be saying at this point that either one of these running backs is better than the other. They're just different. And they bring a different set of skills to the table, and they're utilized a different way. Now, supposing your coach is smart. I mean, we've seen McDaniel send Achan up into the middle 500 times, and there's Jalen Wright sitting on the bench. Yeah, that's dumb. You know? But it's the same thing. What we're even expecting or expect to get out of Skyler is nowhere in comparison to a 5th overall pick. But you all want to sit there and prop up Tua by degrading others. Fine. How's your boy Brock Purdy doing recently?
Actually, Carla, why don't you go create your own fucking YouTube show? And I don't care if you big mouth me, Culler. Why don't you create your own show trying to say I stuck my foot in my mouth? Maybe you did. Maybe you're right. Maybe you have experience about being nervous, but that doesn't mean other people don't. That doesn't mean other people have the same symptoms of being nervous than you may have had, right? Everybody is different. We can all agree on that. Telling me I put my foot in my mouth. Go create your own freaking show.
Hey, show the clip. Show us what you're talking about. Put a little arrow next to put a little arrow next to his shivering legs or whatever proof you have that he was nervous. And I'll show you a 45.8% pressure rate.
I'm serious. Prove it that you know. Go ahead and create your own show. Show me the scientific proof.
Explain to us why whatever. You know exactly.
Just like how you know everything about football, why don't you create your own show? You would be, if you know everything, you would have thousands of people following you.
Sort of like how when Culler explains to everybody about this catch rule yesterday, and everybody wants to argue with me, I'm going to tell you straight up, you can argue with this piece of paper right here that comes right out of the NFL rule book because it ain't Culler bringing you the information. I'm going to show you the information that I speak out of my mouth. And we'll use that as a perfect segue. As I explained to everybody on the stream yesterday, the reason that the referees got that call right is because in the NFL, you have to have 2 feet down inside the field of play for it to be ruled a catch. You have to have 2 natural steps. Okay? In that process, if that is a natural step that includes your heel hitting the ground, the heel has to come down in bounds. So when you're falling away out of bounds, you cannot just put your toe down unless you push off of the ball of your foot. I know it sounds really, really very, very specific and very, very nuanced. But having read the rule again and having thought about it further, you can actually be falling away and just have toes down. But what it looks like is you have to actually push off the ball of your foot in order for those toes to just count. But if you're coming down in a natural step, you cannot just use your toes. Your heel has to come down in the natural step in bounds. And if you look at that play and you see his toe touch and his heel come down, it's because he's taking a natural step with his foot. And the heel came down out of bounds. If in that moment, if he would have just so much as pushed off on the ball of his foot, of his toes, of his foot, that would have been seen as a separate motion from a natural step, and they would have ruled it a touchdown.
Culler, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why the hell are we even showing this? Carla already knows everything, so we don't need to even explain this. Maybe Carla should go on her show and explain this.
Well,
if she really
I'm trying to give her an example of what it looks like to show people how you know what you're talking about.
Carla knows what it means to be a backup quarterback in the league, so she knows everything.
Right.
And let alone, if you really think, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this too, for those that you think that are trying to say, oh, Skylar's not even going to be here after the bye week.
Good.
Skylar is still going to be here till the end of the season. You can take that to the bank.
Look, Ali,
if we're going to drop, hold on real quick. If we're going to drop Skylar at the bye week, watch your God and all faithful Tua get injured again. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but he does. Then what? Then you have nobody but one quarterback on this team. That would be a disservice to this team. You and your know-it-alls, go create your own show. Go have your show somewhere else. I don't need you around here.
I mean, to me, Ali, I say good.
Yeah,
so he's
good.
cut at the bye week. Does that really make their day better?
I don't know. Does it make Tua better?
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, like, so if they cut him at the bye week, are they just going to come in and be like how? Carla for president? Like, really? Seriously? And you call yourselves adults? Like, I haven't even thought of the word Skylar, like, until, God, I have forgot the last time I thought of the word Skylar. Oh, that's right. It was back earlier in the week when Mike McDaniel said that his ribs are still too sore and Tyler Huntley's getting the start. Oh, that's right. I mean, good. So they cut him. If they cut him in the bye week, good. What's that mean? Does that mean that?
If we have
Wait a
another
minute. What I'm wondering is, are this? Wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Are the 6,200 some odd subscribers of this channel going to unsubscribe if Skylar's cut? Are the 76 people watching on YouTube right now not going to show up tomorrow because Skylar gets cut? Priorities, people. Priorities.
Look,
Like,
my
amazing.
point is, listen, I'm not even saying that Skylar is a world quarterback and all this other stuff. That's not this point. Don't get it twisted. That's not what this argument is about. The argument is about the fact that you have to constantly bring it up just to make Tua look better. I'm sorry, Tua's the long-term quarterback here.
So the answer to that is good. Let them cut Skylar. If that makes you happy as a Dolphins fan, have at it. I mean, good. I mean,
what are you going to do when Huntley? And I'm just really joking when I say this, but you never know. It could happen.
I mean, I don't even care, Ali.
Well,
I hope they get everything they're asking for.
I get that, but the fact is, I care because the fact I have to constantly see this shit and people being degrading. Why can't we just sit here and actually praise our players on our team and then fault them for their faults?
All they're doing, Ali.
We get called the haters, but I see all the haters in chat.
All they're doing is strengthening our license to say whatever we want about anything about this team. And it's high time that we have that license. So let's talk about Tua, Ali, since that's what they want to talk about so much. Is Tua
Okay.
ever going to get his soft ass off the bench and start playing again?
That's
I
what
can play this game
I
too.
think that's what they're talking about.
I've already shown this audience over the last 3 years with Tua that I can play this game too. I can play this fake outrage and fake hate too. Because guess what? Nobody cares what Culler thinks about Tua. Nobody. I can say Tua's God. I can say Tua's trash. And nobody gives a shit. Matter of fact, Culler's haters would agree with me right now that nobody gives a shit what I think about Tua. So guess what? Ask the question, forget Skyler, forget Huntley, forget everything. When is our quarterback one going to get his soft ass off the pine and start playing quarterback again? Please tell us.
I want to know. I want to know. Is it Skyler's fault that Waddle didn't catch 3 balls in a playoff game that were perfectly thrown right in his hands? 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 perfect passes that could have changed the trajectory of the game. Right? Remember, we were leading in that game at one point. We could have had an even much major lead, but I guess that's Skyler's fault that he has to throw the ball, run down the field in lightning speed to catch a ball that your star wide receiver couldn't do in the biggest moments, and has dropped more balls in the biggest moments than any other receiver we've had on this team. He's made Devontae Parker look like a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Ali. You know, it's just like right now, Culler and Ali said he was better than Tua. Clip it, Carla. Show the clip.
You're the John.
No, bro, stop. I'm going to end this right now. Show the clip, Carla. Use your little YouTube channel where you got 60 of your friends to like you. Okay, and show the clip.
And again, I'm going to preface it that this argument isn't saying that Skyler is some worldly quarterback. That's not what this argument was about. We're talking about Huntley, and what do I see, chat? People degrading Skyler because he didn't perform to Tua's standards. Tua is a Pro Bowler. Tua is a top 5 draft pick. Tua is special. Nobody is disagreeing with that.
Yeah,
why are we even fucking talking about it?
If they think Tyler Huntley should have been the solution the whole time, then maybe they should talk to Tua because Tua couldn't handle it. I mean, we got a quarterback that can't be upstaged because his mind is fragile like an eggshell. And I said mind, not head. That's a different argument. I mean,
Harlan wants to say that Tyreek was the reason we didn't have a division title last year. Yeah, you might be right.
I don't give a shit if he stood in a clean pocket in Alabama and threw a bomb to a guy with 17 yards of separation. I don't care. He's fragile. He's a weak-minded person. He can't be challenged. I mean, this is all QB1 talk. Fuck Skyler.
Yeah. I don't even know why we even have to bring it up.
Cut him if that's what you want us to do. Cut him. I don't like Skyler either. Cut him. Now what? We still have a weak quarterback. Cut Tyler Huntley. Now what? I'm waiting. What now? Cut them all. cut the whole team. Now what? Can we get back to football talk, Carla? Or are we still busy talking about how weak-minded our QB1 is?
Do you read this shit, Culler?
I stopped reading your shit a long time ago, to be honest with you.
I would hope, Carla, that your chest is bigger than me and Color's for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I would hope so. Hold on, let me check. Yep. Still just a pinch. Anyway. So generally speaking, when you're talking about toe drag, as we like to call it, generally speaking, the receiver has to be parallel to the side, to the end to the out of bounds line, be it the back of the end zone or the sideline, or they have to be going forward out of bounds, because you can't put the top of your foot all the way down on the ground. So tapping the toe when you're going forward is a natural step, especially for a ballerina. So that is 2 feet in bounds when you just tap your toes going forward. But coming backward, you're putting your foot down. You're taking a step. So when your heel comes down out of bounds, it's out of bounds. If you were to push off on the ball of your foot, sort of like spring off of that without your heel touching out of bounds, that would be toe drag. That would be the same thing if you're going forward. But yesterday, the receiver, with his foot was coming down in a natural step. The heel had to come down in bounds. That is the rule. And as you can see, since I like to show what I'm talking about, according to the NFL rule book, right here, plain as day, this is Article 3, or this is, what is it? Article 3, subsection 6. They even put it in red. And I did look it up. This has happened a couple times. Happened in 2020, 2021. Happened in 2015. Caused the same controversy. Because people don't know football. And they all want to talk like they know what the hell they're talking about. I saw Dolphin fan reactions yesterday during the game. Like I rewatched some Dolphin reactions. And even the content creators were like, oh my God, we're going to lose. They had no idea that was going to be turned over. I knew it'd be overturned right as soon as I saw the replay. I tried to explain to everybody, but here's the rule as stated, as written in the rule book. If any part of the foot hits out of bounds during the normal continuous motion of taking a step, i.e. heel toe or toe heel, then the foot is out of bounds. A player is in bounds if he drags his foot or if there is a delay between the heel toe or the toe heel touching the ground. So the delay being a separation. With the toe drag going forward, you're bouncing your toe off the ground. Coming backwards like that, you're not bouncing your foot off the ground. You're taking a step. So the heel has to come down in bounds. Again, If he would have bounced off, sprung off of the ball of his foot, and that was noticeable in the replay, they would have ruled it a touchdown. But he let his foot come down. If he would have used his cleat and just kind of sprung off the toes, falling away, that would have been good enough to be a touchdown. That is the rule. It's always been the rule. It just very, very rarely gets exposed. Maybe it's a bad rule. Maybe we should change it. Okay, I don't care what you think, but that is currently the rule. So generally speaking, if you're falling away backwards, your whole foot has to come down in bounds, unless, of course, there's a delay. That delay being caused by a really gifted player that knows the rule that springs off the ball of his foot. The ball being right underneath your toes, where the part where his foot was in bounds. If he would have sprung off of that, it would have been a touchdown. But because he let his foot come down like a step, not a touchdown. And they got the ruling correct. Now, yeah, as Dolphin fans, we can say, holy shit, we needed an obscure rule to win the game. Fine, whatever you want to say to continue your narrative of demoralization of our fan base and this football team. Go ahead. It's you doing it. You're the one showing who you are really about who you're rooting for. And we can talk about, oh, on Sunday I do that. Well, I said the same thing about Tua. I hate him during the week. I root for him on Sunday. He's my quarterback. But that ain't good enough for me, so it ain't good enough for y'all either. Get on board. Because until we lose again, we're going to win again. That's just the way I roll. That was that play was not in the field of play. I don't care if you thought it was a touchdown. I don't care if you thought the referees gave us the win. I don't care if you think we needed that. Our defense defended all the blades of the grass inside the field of play. And that's all they're tasked with doing. They ain't got to defend the white line. And the NFL is a game of inches, and you all know that. So quit trying to diminish the freaking win by saying that we needed a obscure call to win a game. Tell that to Jalen Wright that put 86 yards down on the turf. Tell that to Mostert that put another 80. Tell that to Tyler Huntley that threw for almost 200 yards as a backup. With a team that's got an inferior wide receiver at wide receiver 2. That's right. That's what I just said. Sorry you don't like it. Jalen Waddle's an inferior wide receiver. Dime a dozen. We can literally replace Jalen Waddle with just about every wide receiver 2 in this league and be just the same. And there's arguably some wide receiver 2s and 3s in this league that are better than Waddle. That's right. That's what I said. If you disagree, so what? Argue with your mama. When you got a backup third string practice squad quarterback directing your wide receiver, coaching your wide receiver on the field, that's not a wide receiver 1. That is not an elite wide receiver. Sorry to tell you, people. It'd be one thing if Tua was coaching him up. You got a practice squad 50th string quarterback playing Dolphins football, and he's having to coach our wide receiver on the field. I'm glad Huntley did it. If you want to talk about what separates Tyler Huntley from Skylar Thompson, that's it right there, people. Tyler Huntley ain't afraid to coach a $30 million wide receiver when he stops on his routes. Yeah, that's what I said. And it's true. The film don't lie. Only the people describing the film to you lie. Only the people interpreting the film to you lie. The film don't lie. And the film caught it. The network film caught it. I ain't even got to watch the All 22. The network replay caught it. Did you? Did you, Ali? Not saying you didn't. I'm just saying. That's right, Jermaine. Let him know. Let him know, Jermaine.
You caught it over everyone else.
Oh, you mean Waddle stopping on his route? Slowing down on his route? And then speeding back up because he realized, unlike Tua, the quarterback still got the ball with potential to throw it.
I also think Huntley was yelling at Waddle for not continuing to block for him.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
He was coaching Waddle on the field. Yeah, that's right, Waddle. You got a guy that might still have the football in his hand with the ability to throw it. That's right. That's not Tua. Time to grow up, Waddle. See, I can crap on the team in a win, too. I can do the same thing. I can tell you all of our problems after getting a win. But I'm not going to sit here and pick and choose what problems I talk about. And I certainly ain't going to be talking about a guy that didn't even dress for the game yesterday. And you could put whatever name you want on that because neither one of them were Tyler Huntley. It's just amazing to me. So it is what it is. When our quarterback one decides to grace us with the field with his presence again, we'll talk about him. Until then, the last time I checked, come 2 weeks from now when we're facing the Colts, we're going to talk about that quarterback that's starting that game. I think Carla's just got a thing for Skyler. She don't want to admit it. Hit the like button, everybody. We're at an hour and 49 minutes. Really, I'm having a really great morning this morning because I really don't feel like I'm saying anything that's wrong. What about you, Cap? Oh, I got something to tell you, Cap, too, about yesterday in the betting action. But go ahead.
So, I've been listening a little bit, right? And I hear you. You don't want to talk about Tua and the team that you want to address the players that are there, and I understand that, and I'm with it, right? I know Lou's kind of on that, EM kind of is on that stuff. A lot of you guys that are well respected in the community are on it. To me, we're here because of the issues that weren't addressed in years prior.
No, are you sure it ain't because of Skyler?
Well, listen, again, Skyler, I never understood Skyler game plan outside of what I thought I did, right? I thought the game plan was that you have a quarterback like Skyler, which is a zig to the zag of Tagovailoa, right?
Right.
Tua being this guy, Skyler being that guy. But no, that's not what they had him for. They thought that they could, do what San Francisco tried to do with Trey Lance, and that's take a guy that has athleticism and the arm strength that they like, and see if they can mold that to being a timing, quick passing type of quarterback that Tua is. And all too often, there's failures in that. Not as big as a failure as San Francisco found with Trey Lance by trading everything and then some. But I mean, look, here's the thing, right? It's hard to say that this system doesn't work when you see teams that are successful, like the Niners, successful in this system. The off chance that you find someone that can operate it, which typically it's meant for these smaller, quicker-handed quarterbacks, right? More cerebral. I've never been a believer in this type of style of football, because
Look,
all that I can make you stop doing what you want to do in this offense by just controlling the clock and pounding the rock, and then forcing you to abandon the run and to throw and beat down your defense. That's the type of football I like.
You know what I noticed Tyler Huntley started to figure out yesterday was that if he just pretended that the ball was a junior ball, his timing was spot on. He started slipping. He started like slip throwing stuff, like almost as if he realized I've been approaching it the wrong way. I didn't realize that this was such
trying
a
to
walled
follow
garden
through.
that all I got to do is stand here and flip the ball to different guys. Once he figured that out, we were moving the ball. 17 play drive.
He had to put more English on it, Culler.
He had to put on training wheels.
El Cap, let me ask you this question, because
I
think
had to realize that he was riding a bike with training wheels. It's different when you've been riding an adult bike for so long.
Let me ask this question real quick, because I think this hit the nail on the head, as it's said. You could argue that I understand that what the 49ers did. I get that, right? They found a diamond in a haystack, right? That can do that for them, because why? The offense plays to that quarterback's abilities, right? It maximizes it. Same thing for our offense. It maximizes the abilities that Tua has. That's why it works so well when Tua's at the helm. But that doesn't mean that Skyler can't run an NFL offense. That doesn't mean that he's crap. It's just that this offensive scheme does not play to the abilities that Skyler has. He's a different quarterback. Like you said, zig to zag, right? That doesn't mean the zag is always going to be able to run a zig offense. That's basically
typically
real quick. Let me just throw out a quick analogy, El Cap, because you could probably really feel this one. You've been driving a truck for like months, right? And then you get in a little car.
Yeah, dude.
You have to adjust yourself back, sort of. You know what I mean?
I've only driven trucks and vans. Have only been my vehicle. I remember once when I was about 22 years old, I was looking to buy a new vehicle, and I test drove. I think it was like a Saturn, something like that, right? And I felt like I was getting on the highway, and I damn near, because I hit the gas, I damn near crashed in that thing. Because I wasn't so used to all that lightweight in the ass.
Right, because you needed to pull yourself back a little bit and realize it's not a big, bulky truck.
Yep.
That's what Tyler Huntley started to get the feel of yesterday. It looked to me through the screen like, he's getting it.
It's just,
you know what I mean?
Timing.
Because he just started flipping it like, here you go.
There's no substitute for live game action, bro, and learning that way. That's why they take these kids that are rookies that shouldn't be out there and throw them out there, because it's the only way they're going to learn. Everybody knows that.
Oh, Cap, the Dolphins put out a highlight reel yesterday on their YouTube page. Are we allowed to play that even though it's all branded Fox?
Yeah, because it's edited and it's coming from them, and the Dolphins won't copyright it.
I didn't want to take the risk. I was going to open my show with that clip this morning.
Yeah, we can play that.
Because there was some nice throws. Like, you can really see what I'm talking about in that highlight reel. It's like, oh, Huntley's just like realizing if I just like, I'm not driving a truck anymore. I just got to like, you know, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, bro, this offense just needed a regular NFL quarterback, dude.
I disagree that it needed a regular NFL quarterback. I think this offense.
I'm talking about one that gets what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Like one that understands the analogy I'm talking about right now. Like,
oh, I got you.
You know what I mean? Because I think they get in there and they think that it's got to. No. It's made for everybody. It's just a matter of if you're Tua, you got to go through all your mechanics. If you're Tyler, you can flip the ball with a wrist. Either one could be successful. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Tyler has so much flipping of the wrist ability.
Well, I'm not quite that strong, but you know what I mean, bro.
I don't know, man. To me, this scheme, again, like, you know what it is? You run this scheme and stay running this scheme and go through a couple of quarterbacks before you find one that works, one that can stay healthy, one that can operate the system, one that has the attributes you need to operate it very well. And that's why the Niners are there. They've been running this same type of offense fucking my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So
we're getting close, Scummy. We're getting close.
To what? To cut into here's the thing. I don't know, guys. There's just so much money. I wouldn't be surprised if Tua was here for 3 or 4 more years, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's the out this year. If he comes back and doesn't get injured again and plays, and I don't care what the win or loss record is, doesn't matter. Because he's not going to leave. Because Chris Greer isn't going anywhere. Now, Mike McDaniel, that's up for debate. They might hang it on his head. But Chris Greer, and more importantly, the owner, that's what they want. That's what they want. They want this pass facilitating offense that can, they can sell. That's it, bro. That's it.
Well, you guys got Capitan here without even having to hit the like button. So hit the like button if you want me to play this highlight reel. We got 61 of you hit the like button already. 78 of you watching right now on YouTube. Appreciate every one of you. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and donate if you can. If not, hit that like button. It's that easy. Let me see if I can find this video here, because man, there's some spots where I'm like, okay, like it ain't, man, people just think the world's crashing. Oh, we do have a couple of guys came out this morning. Raheem Mostert and Tyreek Hill have talked to reporters. It looks like.
Caller, thank you for having me, man. I got to go to work, but thank you for having me.
Later.
Sorry, Carl, get to you.
I'm sorry if I derailed.
Yeah, you're fine, man. You're fine.
I hear the sentiment to not talk about Tua.
Well, it was Skylar actually. She brought it. They had to bring up Skylar.
They were rating Skylar.
It was worse
in
than
benefit
Tua.
of Tua.
Well, look. I mean, listen. If we're gonna hold Skylar to the standards of everything else, I mean, it's just not equal to do that with a guy that. I mean, dude. Well,
they're like they're so on last month's arguments, dude. It's like unreal, man. It's like, we told you about Skylar. Look how much better Huntley is. Like, really?
I would say pound for
He
pound.
didn't even throw a touchdown yesterday.
Throwing out offensive schemes and throwing out everything. If I'm measuring Skylar to Tyler, I'm taking Huntley 10 out of 10 times on athleticism,
right,
and everything else.
Of course, but why would that even be a topic of conversation this morning?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Know,
it's not like to rub it in people's face that Skylar's bad.
Are we
You know
acting
what I mean?
like Tyler Huntley went out there and threw for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns? Because that's not what I seen.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
pretty sure I've seen the offense continue to struggle. And I'm sorry to say this, but any other team in the NFL we played yesterday like that, we lose.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
the
needed
only
a
other team.
fullback. We needed a fullback at the 1 yard line to get a touchdown.
Yeah, we're talking. The Patriots and the Carolina Panthers are the only teams we're beating like that. And maybe the Browns, the way they're fucking playing right now. But there's only two teams that are losing to the Dolphins right now. And to me, we're in deep trouble, guys. We're in deep trouble, up and down. And I feel like we're even in worse trouble because I don't see how it gets fixed. That's the problem. This is why I was pushing so hard against Tua and against people wanting to pay him and against all of the other stuff that they were saying how he is him and all this stuff. Because once you get to that threshold and you cross it, there's no coming back without absolute, turning everything on its head. And the Dolphins not just put their eggs in that basket, but they put it in all of the stuff in purview, in perpetuity of this guy being your guy, or at least running this offense.
I think they just gave the fans everything they asked for, and now the fans want to freaking take it back to the store, bro. You know what I mean? It's really sad, dude. You know,
Well, that's
now
how they are
they
today.
sat there and propped this team up for 3 years. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, Tua didn't work out after we just gave him the bag. So now we got a tank, as if the team means nothing anymore. You know what I mean?
You know what's happened, Culler? College football fans have infiltrated NFL football. It doesn't work in college. You don't have the turnover rate. You have cap restrictions and you have obligations.
Right. They
These
don't
people
realize
don't
this is our team.
understand.
This is the team they called for.
They don't understand. They don't
Chris
understand
Greer,
because
for all of his faults and as much as they want to fault him, Chris Greer gave us exactly what we asked for. Have you guys not been on Twitter for the last 3 years? Have you guys not watched all the YouTube content for the last 3 years?
Oh my God.
They gave us what we asked for. This is our team, people. And now you all don't want to root for it. You all want to tank it.
And I'm sorry, but tanking isn't going to get you anywhere other than in the doghouse the next.
I'm telling you this right now. Stephen Ross,
no, we're definitely
wagging his
not
finger
tanking.
at us right now and telling us we're not tanking.
I mean, look, tanking for what, right? Like, okay, I like Cam Ward. The Texas quarterback looks pretty good. The Ole Miss quarterback looks all right. I guess for all those that love fucking Shadoo Sanders, they like him. But all four of those quarterbacks, now that could change as the year goes, but none of them are, clear-cut number one picks.
They're all exactly like Tua.
They're all, yeah. Well, some a little bit more than others, and some a little less than others. But yes, you're right. And there's not a lot of data that says, "Hey, I want to tank for Joe Burrow."
They've all got something to fix that won't work in the NFL. You know what I mean? All of them. None of them are that guy that you're like, I'm moving up to the first overall pick, and it's Andrew Luck. None of them are that guy.
William Slater's saying it perfectly. Archie Manny's not eligible, and everybody's talking about him. You're not going to see him next year in the NFL. Again,
how do we even know if Cam Ward wants to come out for the draft this year?
Yeah, they could lose in the playoffs, and he could say, you know what, we're coming back and winning a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, tanking for what? The Ole Miss quarterback for Shadoo Sanders? Like that is not. You're going to tank for one or two quarterbacks. Who's to say we even get them?
Well, there's the thought that you could tank for the position player, Travis Hunter, but still, you can move up to get a guy like that.
Listen, they tank and we get top 3 pick. I say trade it back and let somebody else fucking. Again, if we're going to tank properly, you tank this year and next year. You turn into the fucking Carolina Panthers this year and next year.
Or the Cleveland Browns.
you just take every draft pick you get and trade back and redo the whole thing.
Or you
But
do like what we're doing is what Arizona did last year. They dance around Kyler Murray coming back all year. Then they give the fans a little dose of him at the end of the year, but it was really tanking with the star to get him weapons. Now they got Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Kyler can't be injured. You know, it's tanking. Yeah, it's oh my God, the league needs to stop it, dude. It's freaking ridiculous, man. We're just getting raked over the coals, dude. Well, I don't care. I'm not letting it happen. We are not tanking.
I don't.
mean, if I got to will us too many wins, blame me. I don't care.
I don't think, again, Culler, from what I've seen, us fans have lost complete control of the fandom and of holding the organization accountable.
Mm-hmm.
We literally, the organization is so great at talking out of both sides of their mouth. We'll hear on one hand that they don't pay any attention to the fans and anything like that, and then on the other hand, you hear and know that they watch everything. They see all the content.
Mm-hmm.
They know all that shit, and it's proven too because they're coming out with their own T-shirts that they made of sayings that the fans are saying, capping online about them.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
They got the king propagandist, bro. I mean, you got Omar Kelly out there this morning, literally saying the sky is blue, and in the very next tweet saying the sky is red. Like, it's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it's a real problem, man. It really is, and I don't see. Again, Culler, it's why I took the long road approach with us here, because I blame. Again, it's also why I blame myself. I didn't get on YouTube. I didn't find you guys. We didn't start this 5 years earlier than we should have, and now we're playing behind the 8 ball. And until we can get a large enough sample size of fans that seem to understand real football and aren't listening to these casuals that don't know shit, a guy who couldn't take a run. If you can't take off running without throwing your knee out or throwing your ankle out or something like that, or I don't know, maybe that's a little too far. But if you have zero athleticism about your past or your present, then why am I listening to athleticism football takes from you? You don't know what it takes. You could only take third-party knowledge and take it and absorb it and spout it out. That's all that those people can do, and they're fucking everywhere, bro.
And that was the theme last week about football being back, Cap, because you know what? Like I said, they built the team we asked for. This is our team. Now you're going to have to buckle down since we haven't got out the gate and won, and everything is going to be tough sledding from here on out. Now these fans have to buckle down and understand how to win football with a team that ain't performing. So either that or they're going to go to sleep. Night, folks. You know what I mean? I'm going to be busy watching football and figuring out how we're going to win. Because how the hell do you know what we even need to tank for?
Well, that's the problem right now when you hear people saying tank. For what?
Yeah, how do we know what to tank for?
You don't tank in a year.
The season has to play out.
It's not even that, Culler. You don't tank in a year in the season prior to it where you re-up on everything. You just don't. It's impossible. You would have to tank next year.
Burn all the money we just spent. Yeah.
It doesn't just burn it. It's just if you tank this year and get rid of people, you're not just cooked next year. You're cooked next year, the following year. Essentially meaning you are choosing to be a team that is well under 500 over the next 3 seasons.
Yep.
And that's
wait a minute. How many years would that add to our current streak of no playoff wins that seems to be all this fan base cares about?
Yeah, well, again, them only caring about dumbass playoff wins is only proving the fact that they don't know anything. Playoff wins don't
See,
mean
like
nothing.
I've told you all from the beginning, this is why you don't build a playoff contender. You
Nope.
build a Super Bowl contender and you lose the playoffs a couple times on the way. You don't build a playoff contender because this is what happens. 2 guys get injured. Done. Tank.
Yep.
Start
You can have.
1 and 3. Start 1 and 3. Tank.
I can put a superstar or two on a couple of teams, and they're playoff contenders. It's just how it is, man.
Wow, it's amazing, bro. How many times the Patriots started off 0 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4 even. It's like, you know why they didn't worry? Because they had a Super Bowl contender, not a playoff contender. A playoff contender, a 1 and 3 start will end their season.
I don't even know anymore.
It's what it is. Y'all think I'm always being esoteric and all this other shit. I'm just speaking truth.
Culler,
That
they don't know
everybody
what
knows.
esoteric means.
Everybody around the league, everybody else seems to know what I'm talking about. And Culler's always wrong, yet we're the worst team in the league.
Well, I would
Because
say
we think
this.
we're going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to make a square wheel and call it and say we reinvented it. Man, we got our team, guys. You ready for some of these highlights, Kat?
Sure.
Kendall Fuller and David Long Jr. back in the lineup, and at receiver today, you will see the debut of Odell Beckham Jr.
No, will.
And a quick snap. Thank you very much, Christina.
Culler,
And
put the
straight
audio
ahead
off.
is Devon.
I don't know, man. They might. How long is these highlights?
5 minutes.
All right, maybe we might. I don't know. We might get
You
hit
see
on
what I'm
this one.
saying, bro? It's like,
Yeah.
It's on Dolphins YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We might not want to play this one because this doesn't look like they edited it. It looks like they took the highlights from NFL Network and threw it up there.
Right.
Damn, we're getting even a lazy fucking Dolphins.
And why don't they
now.
get copyright struck? But you know why?
Well,
because they put
they're the
Fox's
product.
logo in the top of the screen. Why? That's all you should have to do. Courtesy of Fox Sports. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
They all get away with it. Well, fortunately, CCRR, we recognized it right away. We're allowed a couple seconds. Like, they really won't strike us for like a quick couple seconds, but much more than I just played, and they will.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man.
It's okay. Because you know,
again, I don't know. I don't know when's the last time, even in all the years the Dolphins were bad, right? When a win makes you feel not good about yourself, and it's crazy because the reason it's like that is simple. This team, even in a win, is wildly underachieving. It's wildly underachieving because the talent we possess on both sides of the ball, with the money we've re-upped, with the money we've paid, it's just not good, man. It's not good enough. Dolphins with the talent on paper versus the Patriots on paper should have won that game by 14 points.
Easily. So check this out, bro. I take back every mean, rude, ugly thing I ever said about Dallas, man.
Why? Because they came back and won the game?
Well, I remember I had taken the money line on them, right? But that wasn't enough to really recover anything. Now, you do remember that I did that round robin parlay earlier in the day, right?
Yeah, what was it for?
It was just doubling the bet. Well, what it actually was a 3-bet 4-team parlay.
Okay, so the round robin is basically you take 4 and you only need to hit 3.
Right, to get some kind of return.
Any combination of 3 to win.
Right, exactly. the Panthers busted the overall parlay. But the reason it was still on my screen last night is because I had Dallas plus 2.5 on that parlay. So it was
They met
waiting
you.
for that game to end. So I got 3 out of the 4 on the parlay. Right? By the end
Yeah.
of the night, with the 2 bets on Dallas coming through, I was $14 plus on the day yesterday.
Well, I ended up hitting a parlay last night too. That kind of, I mean, it didn't save me, but it took it. I don't know.
Took the hurt off, took the sting off.
Yeah. Let me see
It's
if I
like
can
putting
find it.
aloe on a sunburn.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it was Van Jefferson over in receptions, Turpin over in receptions, and Tolbert over in receptions, and they all went over, and I hit that. $3 won me 15. So
Yep. So after all that, Dallas put me back in the plus of all teams, bro.
well, I've got some money on tonight's game. Hopefully something comes back around again. You can always, I feel like Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr with the fucking way he's got that offense running, and for the Saints that
And
maybe I'll
both teams are banged up in the areas that they shine in.
I know, but I still feel
I
like there's
saw
going to be
saw
some.
this one guy did a rundown on the game for this betting guy, and he was talking about how like both teams wherever they shine, like they're banged up in that area. So there's really no telling what's going to happen tonight.
Well, I've got both quarterbacks over 200 yards at plus money and some other stuff that I got laid off out all over the place. We'll see what happens.
It's like
But it's just
the Saints do things that to exploit the things that the Chiefs don't do very good, but at the same time, they can't play that way because they're missing certain players. So it's like the Chiefs are gonna have to resort to a certain style of offense that favors the Saints defense, but the part where it favors the Saints defense, the defense is banged up. That is some shit like that. It's like it's all convoluted tonight, man. Basically, I predict everybody's going to take the overs on everything, and it's going to be a 10-9 ball game at halftime. That's what I predict.
and I predict that I'm going to continue the losing streak that I've had all week, and have to make it back on Saturday with fucking college football like I've been doing. I've been doing pretty decent in college football because I don't want to say I'm blindly picking, but I'm taking risks, but they're panning out. There's just more games to bet on that you can put together an obscure parlay and hit. So that's how I've been getting lucky, really.
Yep, definitely. Definitely. We got some tropical storm and hurricane watches all over the state, man. You getting ready?
I know. I mean,
Look,
I'm still
dude, the track takes it right through Merritt Island, bro, on the back end.
I know. That's about it's about 50 miles south of me. So I know it's coming
Is
right
that
for
far
me.
south of you?
Yeah, they're still in our division in football, so we still play them in football. But it is south of us. I mean, I'm 25 miles north of Daytona. So
Right.
and Daytona is about 25 miles north of that. So yeah, it's about 50 miles away.
So I told you about I told you about that. So we're pretty much ugly win. Ain't much left to talk about. What'd you think about Jalen Wright, man?
I mean, listen, Jalen Wright is a real one. I think we all seen the potential. He's living up to the potential. I mean, look, for me, I guess if you were going to talk about tanking, right, you would get rid of everybody you have under contract.
Something just changed, bro. Right
What
here
do you mean?
live. Look at my background, dude.
What?
Look at this. Hold on. Let me go
Yeah,
solo
get
on the
us off
background.
screen.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. That might be maybe that's the intro. No, that's the background.
Damn, look at the coffee and shit, bro.
I know it's
What?
steaming now. Look at that. We got
Hit that.
steaming coffee up in here.
Hold on, let
Steaming
me see.
color.
Hold on, let's
It's so
hit it.
apropos.
Hold on, let's hit it again. Let's see it. 'Cause it has like a whole thing.
Oh yeah. And then we just got to put it in loop probably.
Oh no, I think it's in loop. Dang.
Look at that. That's fire. Let me get rid of the banner real quick. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
And see, now when I'm in this mode, we can still see the steam coming out of the coffee cup.
Hell yeah, dude. He
I
says
like
it'll loop. HB says it'll loop. So
cool.
that's dope, man. Damn,
I
HB,
love
where
it.
mine at? Where's mine at?
Look at that
Everybody
debut
getting
and stuff right here on live on the show, man. Up there, the
everybody
loop
get
started again. Now it's coming at us again.
oh what? It's even it rounds around.
Do we need 3D glasses for this thing or like?
Ugh. Damn,
Man,
bro.
that's
They're
awesome.
talking about it being a damn, look, it's even longer. This is dope, bro. Fucks yeah, bro.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm at work today and I got a half a day tomorrow and then I'll figure it out. I just it's been bad and nasty and raining here so much that it's blatant that we're gonna get smacked.
Michael K says you need a bubblegum machine to signify your penny bets.
Sure. You say so. I guess. Whatever you say, Michael K.
Oh
I
wow.
don't know, man. I'm just not feeling it today.
Well, I mean,
How's
it's
it
an
going?
ugly win, bro. You know what I mean? It's hard to talk. We needed it, obviously. But you figure if we can win that way,
Hold on a
like
second,
that
real
with
quick.
Tyler Huntley, then maybe it ain't such a bad thing if Tua gets back. Maybe the season ain't over yet. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, Aqua. Is Sal okay? And good morning, Miss Finns. I saw Miss Finns had a short show this morning. She said the same thing. Like, what else is there to talk about? Special teams look terrible. Fire the special teams coach. Running game looked great. Passing game struggled, but still put up close to 200 yards. No touchdown passes. Ingold finally decided he wanted to be Ingold again. Ingold didn't get hurt. Achan got hurt. We couldn't set the edge on defense. We couldn't stop him up the middle on the run. We gave up a zillion yards on the ground, 7.9 yards per carry. Let's see. We needed every bit of the field to defend against their receivers. And we missed a field goal. Forgot about that one. Yeah, so but somehow we still won 15-10 because the Patriots are just that bad. And we decided we weren't going to give up our season.
Yeah, plus the botched snaps, Culler. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the debacle on special teams for sure.
Well, one was on offense too. Went right over Huntley's head. Wasn't even ready.
Oh yeah,
for it.
that's right. That's right. When he was standing there, not even like ready to like snap the ball. I don't know what the center was thinking there. According to McDaniel, the center thought he heard the check.
Yeah,
basically,
I know.
whatever
I
signal
heard
they wait
about it.
for to snap the ball 2 seconds later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't really give a shit about all that. But here's the
I'd play
thing, right?
McDaniels. I'd play McDaniels post game, but it would literally put us to sleep.
Yeah, I don't need that. You know, it could be worse, right? We could be talking about a loss.
Well, that was the main question that they asked all the players in the locker room yesterday. It was every reporter asked it of every player. How much different does it feel being 2-3 instead of 1-4 going into the bye?
So here's the thing, Culler, and
Every
here's an
one of them said
exercise.
they didn't give a shit.
Here's an exercise I think we can play real quick, and I'm going to need your help because I'm not at the computer, obviously. Which teams would be technically tanking for a quarterback, right? I would say, like, because there's plenty of teams that have a quarterback that are under contract and don't have the type of out Miami has to get a new quarterback next year and make it fiscally responsible, right? So, like, the Raiders is one. You know, people say the Browns, but I don't see how the Browns could do that. Rams, great, Greg. Rams could be one.
Mm-hmm.
So the Raiders, the Rams.
The
I mean,
Giants.
Yeah, the Giants could be a team. So what teams? Now people want to say Carolina, right? But
I don't know. They put Bryce back in yesterday.
and not only that, like, I mean, what is this Bryce's second year? I can't even tell. It's his second year, right? It doesn't matter. He's got
I believe
3 years
so, yeah.
left. He's got 2 or 3 years left under his contract, right? So
That
would
might have
be
just been a good old fashioned benching for coaching purposes. Like they might not be off of him.
and not only that, but like I guess if they wanted the Alabama quarterback, they would tank for him because that's what that owner really wants. He wants to tap into that Alabama market. He don't care. Get one of these Alabama quarterbacks to work. So I gotta imagine, even if that was the case, I would take them off the board because if the Dolphins draft another Alabama quarterback, this might not be the Finns tailgate anymore. It might be the fucking, I don't know, different fucking teams tailgate because I'm about over this shit.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm dead ass, dude. I'm so sick. I mean, I'm about ready to pivot to more NFL college talk than Dolphins talk because it's just fucking brutal. But let's see, right? What other teams could be circling the drain for a
Raiders? Did we say the Raiders?
We got the Raiders, the Rams. The Browns are interesting because, like, the Browns, I think they owe him like $50 million next year, but that's no different than what the Dolphins would have to do. They'd have to eat $50 million. So I guess we could say the Browns. So the Browns, the Rams, the Raiders. We'll throw Carolina in there already. What other teams, guys?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, there's a good one, Color. Now, here's the interesting point, right? I would say, you know, the Dolphins are losing to the teams in a short sample size, losing to the teams that need a quarterback, but are beating the teams that don't. Like you can't say that the Patriots need a quarterback because they got Brissett because they drafted what's his name, May. So they're going to at least not be drafting one this offseason because they drafted one this year. Now, the Titans look to be in the market, absolutely. But if it's a straight up tie in losses, they'd have the heads up matchup and the Dolphins would have a better pick. The Jets are not doing that. I think the Jets could be a team that
the
looks
Bills.
for a quarterback. No, but there's my boss.
The London Silly Nannies. Uh-oh.
I'm just trying to think.
Is the boss
No,
a
he just
Dolphins
drove by.
fan?
No. He's a fucking Tampa Bay fan. They've been making fun of me all year.
Jeez.
Because here they are with fucking their $100 million quarterback, and I'm here with my $200 million quarterback, and they're one of the better teams in the division.
Well, I was going to give him a free advertisement, but not anymore.
It's just there's all right. So who's left on the schedule, right? I don't think the Colts are in the market because they got AR-15. But let's say that the Colts are a potential team to be in the market, right? And that it's the sentiment is that the Dolphins or the Colts are looking at quarterback. Well, the Dolphins
Steelers,
are having
maybe.
I don't know. The Steelers will never tank. That's not their deal. They wouldn't do that.
So currently, the 1-win teams right now are the Titans, the Browns, the Patriots, the Rams, the Jaguars, the Bengals, and the Panthers.
So take off the Jaguars and Bengals because they're not in for a quarterback. The rest of the teams are. Who else is out there?
The 2 and 3 teams are the 49ers, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the rest of the freaking league, pretty much. The Jets. Yeah, and the Jets. Then you have a couple 2 and 2 teams, Saints, Eagles, and Chargers.
So no on the Chargers, maybe on the Saints. I don't know. I think the Saints are going to mess up and figure a way to make Carr their future. In which case, then they'll be tanking in 2026. So, all right. So I think we've got our 5 or 6 teams. Dolphins play Indy. The Indy quarterback is AR-15, ex-Gators quarterback. This is his second year. He was out all year with injury, and he's missed time with injury again this year. So let's say that they're a team that's like, we took all this high, athleticism quarterback, but it's not paying off. Anthony Richardson isn't going to work, and they're going to draft someone next year. And the Dolphins are thinking the same. Tua isn't working out. They're going to take the payout and cut him at the end of the year. If the Dolphins lose to the Colts, then I think the tank is on. The quiet tank is on. If the Dolphins beat the Colts, then I think there's no tank. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to see the matchups in which these are teams you can't win against because they could beat you in the pecking order for a quarterback.
Right.
So we've got the Colts. Who else did the Dolphins play this year? Culler, run down. I know
we play the Patriots again. We play the Rams, the Raiders, and the Browns, as far as some notable bad teams.
Okay, so that's perfect. If the Dolphins lose to the Rams, Raiders, Browns, Indy, then there will be no denying the fact that they are after a quarterback this draft. If they lose half them games, I would say it's pretty evident that that's what their deal is. Because the last time they were tanked for Tua and all this shit, we got in trouble for all that.
Exactly.
We got in trouble. This time they're going to be more hush about it.
Exactly. Hit the like button, everybody. We're at 72. Almost get to 100 today. We're trying, Kat. We're trying.
Yeah.
I told everybody,
And then, so
you might fire me if we don't hit 100.
Say the Dolphins and 4 other teams are looking to get a quarterback. Are they all fighting over Alabama, Shador, Cam Ward, Old Miss?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Unless you're going to get the first overall, you're busted. You know what I mean? Because what are you going to do? You're going to draft a quarterback 5th overall again? We got that already. I mean, why even draft another quarterback if you're going to get a 5th overall? We already got that.
I don't know.
There ain't no Andrew Lucks. The only people that have successfully tanked are the ones that got a real bona fide elite quarterback.
Game
Those are the only
changers.
tanks that have worked.
Game changer.
And that is timing, because you're never going to know when Andrew Luck is ready to come out in the draft. You're not just going to be like, oh, we found out in week 3 that Andrew Luck's going to be available this draft, so now we're going to tank when we're in a Super Bowl window.
No, you see
can't
that
do
coming.
that. It's luck. It's complete luck. Still, even if you tank for it.
Yep.
Or coaching. And if you're the type of team that can coach up a 4th round guy.
I mean, to get the number 1 overall pick, you need to have 4 or less wins. You're telling me the Dolphins are only going to win 2 more games this year?
Well, the people that are out on Tua will tell you that. The people that are out on the team will tell you that. And again, until the guy has got pads on, nobody can say for sure when he's coming back. To Cap's point, if we lose to the right teams, they may not even bring him back. Like not to say that they'd be off of him, but to say that, no, just sit the rest of the season and really get yourself right. We got this. And then tank. With Tua.
Well, maybe they're tanking with Tua and going to get a top pick and trade back and rebuild the trenches. I don't know.
Well, Tua would have to be in on that.
That would be an interesting route.
Tua would have to be in on that. And unfortunately, I don't think he has the political capital to do that with the fan base. It'd be one thing if he was like Joe Burrow or somebody that's already proven, to win in the clutch, to say, okay, now we're going to play the game and act like we're really trying to fix shit when really we're tanking with our star quarterback to get him some weapons. Because look what's going on in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase don't want to be there going forward. Burrow is going to be without weapons at all. Totally. You don't think Burrow gives a shit? He's got the image. His image ain't going to be damaged if they have a 1-win season. He's out there on his presser talking like the coach. Yeah, we're not a championship team. We just played Baltimore to 3 points in overtime. No, we're not a championship team. And he knows as long as he calls it out that way, that the onus is not going to be on him, which means he can sit there with his thick skin and tank all year to get himself somebody like Travis Hunter. Exactly, Aqua. He'll just change his hair color because he's already proven in a lot of people's eyes. He has that license. And I don't hear one single Bengal fan crying about it because they know what's going on. I want to feel the same things going on in Cleveland, but I just think the guy's done. I think he's cooked, to be honest with you. It happens. Great players get cooked. What happened now, True Talk? Somebody else ban you? I see True Talk 101. You had to create a new account? Piss the wrong person off?
Damn, anyway, somebody banned True Talk or not?
I don't know. It says True Talk 101 now, so,
Maybe that's not True Talk. Maybe that's somebody else because
Well,
it's
it could be. It could
TRUE.
be. Apologies if you're not the True Talk 101. But everybody hit the like button. Donate to the channel. I'm going to get out of here. We're at 2 hours
I'm
and
done.
40 minutes. And
I'll
there
see you
really
boys
ain't much
later.
else to talk about. We got to save it. We got a long bye week coming up. And, we'll open up some panels. We'll get people to talk about it throughout the bye week, come up with stuff to talk about. Because once these guys go home for the weekend, we're not going to hear a peep out of the organization throughout the bye week. They usually take off and don't tell us nothing. So, it is what it is. It's the long part of the season. Everybody be safe. Get ready for this hurricane. That's the fortunate part. Football should not be affected by this hurricane because we're in a bye week. But make sure you're stocking up. Make sure you're ready to go with this thing, and get the hell out of Dodge if you're in the evacuation zone, because these storm surges do not mess around. Once again, Dolphins defeating the Patriots, division opponent, in a really ugly win, 15-10. Moving on to the bye week, and then we're going to be bringing in the Colts into Miami. We going to Indy, or are we bringing them here?
I don't know, Culler. My head's spinning.
I know. I got to look now. See, now I got to always make work for myself. And we're going to get to all the stuff that I couldn't get to today, whatever that might be. We'll do some presser roasting throughout this week until they stop feeding us any information. And no, that is going to be in Indianapolis. So one more away game before we got the boys back home. Wow, which means I ain't got to go to deal with Hard Rock for like 3 weeks. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Any last comments,
right,
man, on yesterday?
Nah, man. I just, preoccupied with work, the storm, and this team just giving us nothing. Even in wins, it's not no bueno.
Mm-hmm. What do you say I think next week, either Monday or Sunday night's going to be Bills versus Jets.
Let's call it.
Perfect game for the bye week.
Yeah, let's call it.
Absolutely. I'll be down.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
In the meantime, join me again tomorrow morning. I'll find something to talk about. If not, complain. And tonight, I don't know if we have anything going on. I got to get with Crypto to see if he's got something for today. And
get with Crypto.
Yep. Until then, everybody, keep the fins up. Be safe.